Hello, welcome back to Ever17 out of Infinity. Where should I go? To the merry-go-round, to the jellyfish gondola, to the warehouse, or to the control room? How about to the control room? I went to the control room again. What's up? Any progress?
いえ、残念ながらレミでさえ事態を正確に把握することができていないようなのです。こんなこと普通では考えられないことなのですが。
I turned my eyes to the massive monitor behind Sora. A flat map of LeMU's white stock and dirt stock elevators was displayed. Hold on. Stock Force, okay. LeMU was monitoring LeMU wall to wall 24 hours a day. If LeMU couldn't survey the situation, then what in the world? By the way, what is LeMU? Why is LeMU called LeMU?
まだお教えしていませんでしたか?
No, I haven't heard.
レミの正式名称はライプリキメデツインムリティフィルファーレンインテリゲントヒルンブイステームと言います。
Oh, what was that? Can you give it to me one more time? Huh. What language is that? What does it mean?
最初のライプリヒメディチンは製薬会社の名前を表しています。その後は多重並列処理による人工知能システムといった感じの意味合いです。この頭文字を取ってLEMMIH すなわちレミシステムと呼ばれるようになりました。
I see. Hey, there are two things I wanted to ask you.
何でしょう?
That's what was it again?
ライプリヒメディチン。日本ではライプリヒ製薬と呼ばれています。
So what is the relationship between LeMU and
このテー
LeMU?
マパークを運営しているのはLeMUという名前の株式会社です。そしてこの会社の筆頭株主がライプリヒ製薬なのです。
I see. So essentially, I guess that LeMU has the right to say whatever happens at LeMU.
していただいても差し支えないと思われます。そもそもこのテーマパークの名前の由来も表向きには実際には
Oh, oops.
表向きには幻の大陸レムリアにちなんでということになっておりますが、
Lemuria?
ウトピー、ユートピア、つまりライプ
Ooh, whoa.
実際にはライプリヒメデツインとウトピーの頭文字を取ってレミューと命名されたんだそうです。そんな意味が込められているということになります。
Interesting. Utopia, huh?
2つ目の質問は何でしょうか?
Well, it's about German.
ドイツ語ですか?
Yeah. You just said that LeMU's official name is German, right? And all around LeMU are these German signs and stuff. I wonder why German.
それはライプリヒ製薬が日本とドイツの合弁企業だからです。本社はフランクフルトにありますし、役員の大半もドイツ人で占められています。
So that's why it's all in German. So LeMU Pharmaceutical had a pretty strong relationship with LeMU then? Since I'm asking, can I ask one more thing?
どうぞ。
Ooh, why did LeMU Pharmaceutical want to run a theme park anyhow? I mean, we're talking about LeMU Pharmaceutical. They make medicine, right? That doesn't seem to have anything to do with a theme park. And this is right in the middle of the ocean, right? Why go to all the trouble of...
それは申し訳ありません。その質問にはお答えすることはできません。
What? Why not?
企業秘密だからです。
Confidential? What in the... Who could I possibly tell? I can't imagine that a kid like me finding out could cause any damage. You really can't even tell little old me. Sora got quiet and wasn't answering. Okay, I understand. We'll just forget about it.
本当にすみません。
It's alright. You don't have to apologize. You have to keep the secret as part of your job, right? There's nothing you can do about it. Hmm.
わかりました。では一つだけお教えしましょう。レミューは外部から電力を供給してもらっているのではなく、艦内に自家発電装置を持っています。この真下、水深119メートルの位置に海底があるのですが、この海底にある熱水噴出口から数百度という極めて高い温度の水を汲み上げ、その熱を利用して発電機を稼働させているのです。
I waited for the rest of the explanation, but Sora didn't say anything more. And what does that have to do with what we were just talking about? Sora let the question go.
そろそろ仕事を再開してもよろしいでしょうか。
Oh, sorry to bother you. I gave up and left. LeMU was controlled by a Japanese-German joint venture called LeMU Pharmaceutical. Why would they build a theme park here? And what could it have to do with the fact that they had generated their own energy? I left with this mystery spinning in my mind. I thought I would go somewhere else. Okay. To the merry-go-round then. Ooh, the merry-go-round. Several dozen dolphins were connected in a circle. There were no horses, no carriages, there were no children's voices, and the blue ocean was just one paneling of wall away. We were all trapped in this place. Taking this, it was hard to believe that the scenery spreading before me was reality. What am I doing here? That thought popped into my mind. What I was experiencing right now seemed much more bizarre to me than the fact that I'd lost my memory. In other words, my doubts about the past were less than my senses of unease about the present. I was overcome by a sense that my existence was floating away. No. No, he was peeking out at me from the shadow of a rock. Not exactly. That reminds me, so how are things with Tsugumi? What do you mean? And what should she say? So it was a big zero? And get her out. So get a hit. Saying that, you started walking. She got on the platform of the merry-go-round. I followed after you and jumped on the back of a dolphin. I was looking for everyone. When I went to the security office, nobody was there. What about... Oh, wait. Yes, okay. I just say that right. What about you? What were you doing? Okay, alone? You cast a lonely look at the dolphin as she patted its smooth skin. Probably because it's not turned on. There should be an operating point around somewhere. Yeah, probably. What?
さっき思ったんだけど、レミューの中にはイルカもクジラも
魚も貝もタコだってクラゲだってイソギンチャクだっているのにさ。でもそれって本当は全部生き物じゃないんだよね。
Of course not. They were all made by people.
当たり前かな。例えば深い森の中では生きていないものを探す方が難しいでしょ。木も草も鳥も昆虫も土の中の微生物だってみんな生きてるんだもん。だけどここはどう？
That's nice to think about.
空間の中で生きてるのは私たちだけなんだよ。海の中の楽園なのにね。この楽園では生きてることの方が珍しいのかもしれない。つまり私たちは邪魔者、死の世界に紛れ込んだ異物なんだと思う。
You petted the dolphin. The dolphin's deformed plastic smile didn't move at all. A steel rod was stuck into its belly. Do you hate LeMU, you?
難しい問題ね。好きとか嫌いとかそういうのは考えたことなかったな。
But you liked it enough to start working here, right?
ううん、
No, you didn't?
違うよ。
Well, then why? With my question, you tilted her head. Then she just climbed up and started wandering around one of the dolphins. Finally, her feet stopped and you quietly faced me.
大切なものを探してるの。
Something important?
お父さんの手がかり。
Ah. What is she looking for that for?
私のお父さん、レミューの開発部門で働いてたの。
Research and development?
私も詳しくは聞いてないんだけど、お父さん、レミのプログラムを作ってたみたい。
LeMU? Wasn't that LeMU's central computer?
もちろん、一人でやってたわけじゃないよ。そのプロジェクトの一員として開発に携わってたってこと。
Huh? Is that so? But what did you mean by clue?
お父さんね。お父さん、ある日突然
Yep.
いなくなっちゃったんだ。
What? Oh, what a surprise.
なっちゃったの。
Her father is gone. When?
それが物心ついた時にはすでにいなくって、私が1歳の時、つまり今から17年前のことね。
So you don't remember your father?
うん。写真とかムービーとかでしか見たことはなくて、ちゃんとした記憶は残ってないの。全然。今言ったことも全部お母さんから聞いた話で。
But why? Why did he disappear?
それが分かればこんなところまで来たりしないよ。
What do you mean?
お父さんの姿が最後に目撃されたのはこのレミューの中だったの。だからここに来れば消えたお父さんの手がかりが何か見つかるかもしれないって、そう思って。お母さんはもう諦めちゃってるみたいだから頼りにならないし。お母さん、お父さんのこと死んじゃったんだって思ってるみたい。
The word dead had a heavy ring to it. You looked straight at me as her eyes watered.
でもね、私は信じてるの。お父さんは絶対どこかで生きてるんだよ。だってそうでしょ。お父さんはただ行方不明になっただけで遺体が見つかったわけじゃないんだし。
I couldn't find any words. I didn't know what to say to her. She might have been waiting for me to say something like, "You're right, he's probably alive somewhere," but I couldn't say it. I just nodded and couldn't even look back into her eyes. Finally, we promised to meet later in the conference room and split up. I thought I would go somewhere else. Jellyfish gondola. Well, next I went to the jellyfish gondola. Tsugumi was there. Her back was to me and she was looking at the entrance. I called out to her loudly. Want to ride the gondola? Tsugumi turned to look at me, but she immediately turned on her heel and walked away. Wait a minute.
私さっき言ったわよね。もう二度と声をかけないで。
Aw, come on. But Tsugumi started walking again. Hey, I said wait.
何よ、しつこいわね。
You met you and Sarah, right?
だから
Why didn't you listen to them?
あなたには関係ない。そんなこと聞くために私を呼び止めたわけ？
Oh. The real reason is something else. Before you said something about those guys or something, right? What did you mean by that? Tsugumi stared at me intently. She narrowed her eyes almost as if appraising me. Intimidated by her intense glare, my body stiffened and I swallowed.
何者なの？
I don't know. I wish I did know.
「分かったわ。もしもあなたが嘘をついてないとしたら、一つだけ忠告しといてあげる。あなたはきっと利用されてるのよ、やつ。
Using me? So who do you mean when you say those guys?
私、まだあなたのこと 100% 信用したわけじゃないの。逆に、私のことを信用してもらっても困るし。
Man, what is with this girl?
自分の身は自分で守りなさい。何が起きても、私はあなたのことを助けるつもりはないから。
Saying only that, Tsugumi turned and left. Having no idea what had just happened, I simply stood there. I thought I would go somewhere else. To the warehouse. Warehouse. I wound up in front of the warehouse. I don't expect anybody is here, but... What's that? The watertight door at the entrance was slightly open. I was sure it was closed when I had come right here with you and everyone. Is anyone there? I softly opened the door. Huh? Sarah? Sarah was inside. She was sitting on top of a pile of boxes. I didn't know if I'd surprised her, but her face seemed to stiffen. Sorry. After shooting me a slight glare, Sarah stuck her hands in her pockets and dropped to the floor. But what are you doing here? Yeah, alone? You had said almost the same thing. What happened with Tsugumi? Well, you seem pretty down. I see. Feminine intuition aside, not even the two girls had been able to get through to her, even though there was no apparent reason for Tsugumi to hold a grudge. What could Tsugumi have been so angry with us about? Finally, we promised to meet later in the conference room and split up. I thought I would go somewhere else. To the security office. Watching Zimmer. Oh, Takeshi! I was surprised upon returning to the security office. Takeshi was there. I wonder what he is up to. He had both hands on the operating panel and was staring into the monitor intently. I was about to call out to him, but I hesitated. The gaze that Takeshi had leveled on the monitor, it was so intense that it made my spine tingle. He had the eyes of a hawk scouring the horizon for prey. Takeshi... I finally got out the words. Takeshi slowly looked back at me.
Oh, Sora, やっと来たかね。 待ちくたびれたぞい。
The look on Takeshi's face was his normal old goofy expression. I felt relieved. What were you doing? You looked so intense, it was scary.
怖い顔
Yeah, just now, you looked scary.
失礼なやっちゃな。俺の顔のどこが怖いって言うんじゃい。
It's different now, but before it was scary.
おうじゃあどれだけ怖かったのか見せてみ。
I think your face was kind of like this, glaring at the monitor. I tried to mimic how Takeshi had looked by using my fingers to pull both my eyes.
なんじゃそりゃ全然怖くねえよ。
Don't try to pretend it was nothing.
すまんすまん。俺はな、お前さんを探してたんだよ。
For me?
おう、お前さんいつまで経っても来ないからな。館内放送で呼び出してやろうかと思って。
Huh.
ひょっとしたらどこかで迷子になってビービー泣いてるんじゃないかと。
What are you talking about? I was about to say the same thing to you. You weren't here at the time we set up. Where have you been until now?
やろ、その時いなかったのお前だろ。思いっきり遅刻しやがったくせに。
Oh, sorry about that, but could you have waited a little longer?
忙しいんだ。お前のことだけ構ってるわけ。
You could have waited a little longer. Huh. Busy, you?
そう、俺は多忙なんだ。
Liar. Until a while ago, we were wasting time together. we. What? Until a while ago, we were. Okay. Well then.
なあ。もうやめないか？こんな身のない口論。
Yeah, it's kind of stupid.
だろ？
We both laughed quietly. That dissolved any tension that was in the atmosphere. I didn't get it. But at some point, I began to feel comfortable with him. I thought there was something about him. Something like me,
ところでどう
maybe.
よ？何か思い出せてきたかね？
Saying that, Takeshi sat down in a chair. His eyes were at the same height as mine. Any changes? You mean my memory? Takeshi nodded. I shook my head.
そっか。でもまあ焦んなや。そらも言ってたけど、記憶喪失ってのはほんの些細なきっかけで突然治ったりするもんだ。
Easy for you to say. It's not your problem.
人事だからな。
You say it like you've seen it happen.
まあな。何せ俺様は全知全能だからよ。
Sure. Tell me about it. And I didn't feel like prying.
まあとりあえずだ。まずは手近なところから思い出していったらどうだ？そうだな。誕生日とか。
My birthday.
どうした？
Hey, what year is it?
お前、そんなことも忘れちゃったのか？
Yeah.
今年はな、西暦2000何年だっけ？
Saying that, Takeshi fished his entrance tickets up from his pocket.
そうそう。2017年だ。
2017. Takeshi crumbled the stub back up and pushed it back into his pocket. 2017.
それがどうかしたのか？
Yeah, kind of.
ちょっと？
I thought that if I heard the year, then I might be able to remember at least my
そうか。
birthday.
そういえばお前、自分の年齢もわからないんだったよな。
No.
見た感じだと42歳厄年ってところかな。
What?
冗談だよ、冗談。そんなわけないだろうが。多分14、15歳ってとこじゃないかな。仮に18歳だとしたらかなりの童顔だ。
14 or 15, huh? I muttered this.
さてと、俺はもう行くぞ。実はまだ見回りが終わってねえんだ。
Oh, hey, Takeshi. It seems like everybody is scattered all over right now.
まあそうだな。もう少ししたらどっかに集合しないとな。
I think the conference room would be good.
わかった。みんなに会ったらそう伝えとくよ。
Takeshi left. I also decided to go somewhere else. On the way down the corridor, I noticed a sound. I looked for the source of the sound. Someone was crossing the corridor where it came to a T up ahead. A girl. It was a girl that I had never seen before. I followed after her as if I were being pulled in by her. Hey, wait, you there. The girl went into the infirmary. No one was inside. I carefully went deeper into the room. There I noticed a square space cut out. I peeked inside. Down below, a small lift was stopped. It looked like there was another room directly below the infirmary. I pushed the button, calling the lift, and hopped in. In the darkness, a girl sat on a bed. I was at a loss for words. I didn't know where to start. Coco? She just stared at me. It's alright. Don't worry, everything is alright. She didn't answer. Anyway, let's go where everybody else is. Yeah, it's not just me. There are lots of other people. Yeah, that's right. Huh? The girl's eyes were sad and moist. Why do you say that? We'll be fine. Our rescue team should be here any time. It's not a lie. The people that escaped know that we're here. Someone will come for sure. Why do you say that? Then suddenly, a shocked look appeared on the girl's face as her eyes focused behind me. I followed her gaze. On the other side of the door was Takeshi peeking in. Takeshi, what great timing! Seems like this girl here didn't get out either. What? Oh, what? I looked back. The girl had vanished and there was no sign that anyone had been sitting where she had been. Impossible. No, I'm not seeing things. There was a girl here. She was sitting on this bed. What? Hungry? Who cares about that right now? There was a girl here. A girl, I tell you. You don't get it at all. But... Well then, what are we going to do about the girl? I'm sure the girl's probably starving too. I'm not crazy. There was a girl right here. In the end, I couldn't get Takeshi to listen to me. Before going to the conference room, I peeked into the control room. The bioscan figure was eating at my mind. Life readings 5. Number had dropped from 6 to 5. Everyone was in the conference room. There were fried chicken sandwiches and drinks secured from the sandwich shop for everyone. Only Sugumi was absent. I wondered where she had gone, but more than that, I was worried about her. I told everyone about the girl. But... everyone just laughed and no one listened. No one else had seen the girl. Then I remembered the bioskin figure. 7. That girl was probably person number 7, but the number had been 5 and 6 as well. What could it mean? The image of the girl had been burned into my mind. There was no getting away from it. I wondered if it was, like Takeshi said, a hallucination. If not, then a ghost. That was crazy. I shook my head at my own silliness. Maybe I was losing it. Something had to be wrong with me. I needed to calm down and collect myself. While I thought this, I flipped up the tab with the chemical. At first, I didn't know what had happened. I licked the liquid around my lips. It was sweet. It seemed as if the coal had exploded into my face. Oh no! Everyone exploded in a chorus of laughter. You said this laughing.
その間、レミューの特殊ガスの気圧に合わせて6気圧で封入してあるんだから。でも今ここは1気圧でしょ。だからちゃんと手で押さえて開けないと、そんな風に中の炭酸が噴出して。
What? Oh. As she laughed, Sarah took out a handkerchief. I took it and wiped my face. I was enveloped in laughter. Without noticing, I'd forgotten about everything that had been weighing on my mind. Almost an hour had passed. No help had come. There was no contact. The people on the floating island should have known that we were all trapped down here. So why didn't anyone come? Even if they couldn't open the watertight doors, there should be divers that could tap on the window glass or something.
皆さん、今晩はもうお休みになられた方がいいと思います。後のことは私にお任せください。
Saying this, Sora grinned.
休むって言ってもどこで？
仮眠室みたいなのってないの？
水没した区画にありますが、ドライエリアには残念ながら。その代わりと言ってはなんですが、別の場所をご用意してあります。
Another.
場所？ちょっと待ってよ、ソラ。
You're not saying that 4 people have to sleep in this cramped space? It was the place where I seen same place where I seen seen the girl. Yeah.
ご説明申し上げます。ここは医療用の過減圧室です。この部屋で減圧症の治療を行うことができます。
減圧症？
はい。通常レミューから外に出るときには6気圧から1気圧へ長い時間をかけてゆっくりと減圧しなければなりません。しかし皆さんは今回の事故により急激な気圧変化を経験されています。もしかしたら減圧症にかかっているかもしれません。そこで皆さんには念のためこの部屋の中で再加圧をしていただきたく。
But there's nothing wrong with us.
軽い減圧症はすぐに自覚症状が現れるわけではないのです。一晩二晩経ってから痛み出すこともあります。
やばいと気づいてからじゃ遅い？
はい。つまり念には念を入れてということです。ね
え、ソラ。救護室にあるほらあれ、いろんな病状を診断できる装置があったじゃない？
LMRI のことですか？
そうそう、それ。あれでスキャニングすれば減圧症にかかってるかどうかすぐにわかるんじゃないの？
残念ながらそれはできません。
なんで？
先ほど見たところ、あの装置は故障中のようです。検証と修理にそれなりの手間と時間を要してしまいます。
そうなんだ。ねえ、一つ聞いてもいい？
何でしょう？
減圧症のこともうちょっと詳しく知りたいんだけど。
わかりました。減圧症は周囲に急激な気圧変化が起こった際に体内に排出できないガスが溜まってしまうために起こるものです。ガスは気泡となって筋組織や静脈中などにとどまります。ガスが体内に多く残っていると酸素呼吸効率が著しく低下します。
それってどんなに深呼吸しても窒息したみたいに苦しくなるってことか？
はい。そこでこの部屋を密閉して高濃度の酸素を注入。一旦約3気圧まで再加圧し、その後 ゆっくりと減圧し、再び1気圧に戻します。圧力差を利用して体内の気泡を再び血液中に溶け込ませ、呼吸によって自然に排出できるようにするわけです。
つまり観光らが紛失しないようにしてやるわけか。
ええ、その通りです。
オッケー、分かったよ。
The decompression process took place over several hours, but boy, it was cramped. I wondered where in the world Tsugumi could have gone. And shouldn't Sora have been undergoing decompression as well? I was so tired that my mind and body felt numb, but strangely sleep didn't come for me. Takeshi had monopolized the bed. He was breathing deeply and peacefully. Sleeping so well in an emergency like that, you, Sarah, and I sat on the floor. I gradually got annoyed with Takeshi sleeping like a log. There were still 4 hours until the decompression was complete. The night was long. I wondered how much time had passed since the pressurization had started. I noticed that the date had already changed. I waited on the hard floor for the treatment to finish. He was the only one of us. Takeshi's talking in his sleep echoed throughout the room. We were mentally drained, and the three of us were in no state to sleep. No, it was worse than that. Gradually, we had started to go mad. Why don't we just wake him up and tell him? We could tape his mouth shut. Wouldn't that kill him? You let the bed have a swift kick as she said this. Takeshi shamelessly carried on like that, looking happily asleep. Who knows? You reached out toward Takeshi's face and pinched his cheek. And then...
You...
Seems like he's talking in his sleep. Alright. What? Okay. You had got hold of Takeshi's collar. If we didn't stop her, she might have strangled him. She's right, he doesn't mean anything by it. He probably not anyway. Takeshi continued to blabber with the dumb blissful look as he slept oblivious to our troubles. What are you going to do? You put her hand in her pocket and pulled out the marker from before. She popped the cap off the pen, prepared to... As she said this, you took the pen and started drawing big round eyes, like a girl from a comic on Takeshi's eyelids. Okay. Oh, that's great, I guess.
敵ね。
It's a masterpiece.
面白そう。ナッキ先輩、私にもやらせて。
Sarah sketched a whirlpool into Keshi's cheek.
ニンニン。
I'm laughing so hard my gut hurts.
少年もこのアホに何か書いてやったら胸がスーッとするよ。
Alright, let's see. I drew meat on his forehead, and the three of us kept taking turns doing graffiti on his face. Yeah, that'll show him. Dozens of minutes later, Takeshi had been further transformed into a much decorated creature, miserable, disfigured, and hard to describe. Hey, second Tuesday. Ooh.
昨夜はぐっすりお休みになられましたか？
おかげさまでバッチリと貫徹させていただきました。
一睡もされていないのですか？
このバカのせいでね。
You lifted her foot and kicked Takeshi, who was lying on the bed.
おばさんパーマにしてください。
Takeshi was still dreaming. It looked like Sora had noticed the graffiti and was trying to keep from exploding with laughter.
どうしたんですか？この顔。
あんまりにも頭にきたから。
We took turns drawing on him.
そう、この魔法のサインペンでキュッキュッキュッとね。
Saying that, you laughed loudly.
それにしても、これは少しやりすぎなのでは？
いいのいいの。このおっさんのせいで私たち眠れなかったんだから。
It's poetic justice.
だからソラもこの落書きのことはしばらく黙っててね。
つまり気づかないふりをするということですか？
そういうこと。
すごいヒントが白いの出てきた。
そんなことよりもソラ、検圧は？
はい、もちろんすでに終了しています。体調の悪い方はいらっしゃいませんよね？
私は全然大丈夫。
Me too.
まあ、徹夜明けだから頭は少しぼーっとしてるけどね。
倉貫さんは？
これ見ればわかるっしょ？
あまりです。
それでは皆さん、すぐに制御室にお集まりください。私は先に行っていますので。
Has anything happened?
話は制御室の方でいたしますので。では失礼します。
Sora ducked and left the pressurization chamber. Sora's face as she left was devoid of humor. We got Takeshi up and made for the control room. Sarah was next to me. Ahead, you and Takeshi were talking about something as they walked. I couldn't quite make out what they were saying. Eventually, Takeshi slowed down, separated from you, and came back to us. Who knows?
心当たりとかないの？
あったら聞いたりしないだろうが。ユウは鏡を見ろとかなんとかって言ってたけどさ。
Huh?
え？
つまんないの。
When Sarah said that, it seemed like Takeshi finally figured it out. He wiped his face with his
なんだ
hand.
これ。
He stared at the black ink on the palm of his hand.
あの女。
Clicking his tongue, Takeshi hurried back up ahead to you. Sarah and I laughed as we watched Takeshi and Yu exchange words. Tsugumi was in front of the control room. She was leaning against the wall, her arms folded and facing down. Morning. With our greetings, Tsugumi slowly raised her head.
ねえつぐみ、ゆうべどこに行ってたの？
Are you alright?
なんかね、空が言ってたんだけど、急激な気圧変化を経験すると減圧症でしょ？知ってるわ。私のことは心配しないで。大丈夫だから。
That flashed through my mind. It seemed like something about Tsugumi had changed from the day before. Maybe it was loneliness, but her attitude and way of talking had been toned down.
平気なの？うん。それよりも早く中に入ったら。空、待ってるわよ。
At Tsugumi's urging, Sarah and I entered the control room.
こんなにも早い時間に皆さんにお集まりいただいたのは他でもありません。
What are we doing
実
now?
は皆さんに一刻も早くお知らせしなければならないことがあったのです。
Sora paused for a second. Sora looked over all five of us. You, Sarah, Tsugumi, Takeshi, and finally me. The cooling fan whirred away in this silence. Okay, yeah. Away in the silence. Huh. I have not heard that before. The cooling fan whirred away. Oh, wait. Occasionally, the sound of metal on metal would ring through the room. Yeah, the five of us waited on Sora's next words.
昨夜、小松さんを除く4人の皆さんが加減圧室に入られた後、
Okay.
私はこの制御室でここからの脱出方法や外部への通信手段について考えていました。そしてレミュー内の状況を一つ一つ調べていくうちにある事実が判明したのです。
脱出するルートが見つかったの？
いいえ。
ってことは外部へ連絡する方法が？
それもまだです。
じゃあどんなことが分かったの？
圧力核兵器の耐久強度、その限界が分かりました。
Saying that, Sora turned her eyes to the side of the console. In the darkness, a three-dimensional image of LeMU sprung up. Pressure bulkhead, what?
レミューの壁のことです。外側の海水と内側の空間を隔てている部分。
その限界が分かったってどういうことなの？
昨日もお伝えしましたように、レミューは基本的に飽和潜水仕様の設計をもとに建造された構造物です。つまり内部の気圧が外部の水圧と同等か、またはそれを上回るような構造になっていたということです。しかし今や艦内の気圧は1気圧ですから、
レミューの外殻は常に苛烈な水圧の力にさらされているということになる。
はい。
ところがレミューはもともとこのような状況に長く耐えられるようには作られていない。必然的にいつか限界が訪れることになる。
おっしゃる通りです。
で、その限界っていうのはいつ？
レミの計算によると今から119時間後、5日後でしょう。
We stared in tandem at Tsugumi.
よくご存知ですね。警備室の端末でお調べになったのですか？そうです。小松さんがおっしゃった通り、完全圧壊推定時刻は5月7日午前4時30分前後となっています。もちろんあくまでも推定ですから誤差はありますが、プラスマイナス12時間程度、それが誤差の範囲ね。はい、そうですが。
That pushed us into silence. It seemed like everyone was lost in thought. We knew for sure that we were in serious trouble. Sora's words had shaken us a bit. But 5 days sounded like a long time, and it really didn't register with me. I kept thinking that our rescue team would arrive at any time, so I didn't really feel that it was worth worrying about. Sora, can I summarize what you said to make sure I got it? At 4:30 a.m. on May 7th, the walls of LeMU will reach the limit. of the pressure that they can handle. But that might happen at 4:30 p.m. on the 6th or at 4:30 p.m. on the 7th. Is that right so far?
ええ、
So doesn't the opposite also hold true? I mean, at the worst, LeMU will still be fine. We'll be fine until 4:30 p.m. on May 6th. So we're fine until then and have nothing to worry about.
絶対に安全だと断定することはできませんが、でも確かにレミの計算結果から判断するとそうなりますね。
なんだ。要するに6日までに誰かが助けに来てくれればいいわけでしょ。そうだよね。あと1日でなんて言われたら思わず泣き出しちゃったかもしれないけど、まだまだ時間は十分あるんだし、それまでにはきっと誰かが助けに来てくれるでしょう。
The tension in the air broke and sighs of relief could be heard around the room. Sugumi, having gotten information somewhere before us, was smiling to herself smugly. It was 5:50 a.m. Takeshi gave a large yawn. Sarah and I sat cross-legged on a bench in the rest area. The floor was covered with water. That was good.
ごちそうさん。
We had just polished off fried chicken sandwiches that Takeshi had made for us. As for the other four, Sora was, as usual, cooped up in the control room, trying to make contact with LeMU. Tsugumi had vanished without saying where she was going. Takeshi had gone to deliver sandwiches to Sora and Tsugumi. Yu was changing clothes. Apparently she had spilled something on them while eating. Fortunately, her normal clothes were safe in the changing room in the dry area.
ねえ、お腹もいっぱいになったことだし、ゲームでもやらない？
A game?
山手線ゲームとか3文字しりとりとか。
Yeah, I'm gonna take a line.
じゃんけんものまねゲームやろうよ。じゃんけんして勝った方がお題を出すのね。
What's Yamamoto line? I wanna play
負
that.
けた方がそのお題のモノマネをするの。オッケー？
Okay.
せーの、チケピー。ちょっと、ちゃんと手出してよ。
I haven't said I'm going to play. And what is
次はじゃん。
John can play? Yeah.
やるかやらないかはやるで決まり。
Who said you could decide?
うるさい。いいからやるの。このままボケーっとしててもつまらないでしょ。
Oh, alright.
素直でよろしい。それじゃあいくよ。せーの、チケピ。
It was paper. I was paper and Sarah went scissors.
私の勝ち。というわけで、お題はね、サバ。
Salmon? You mean like a fish?
それじゃあ張り切って行ってみよう。
Salmon. Salmon. Salmon, 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 salmon. I opened and closed my mouth like a fish, gyrating my hips around and doing my best to become a salmon. Sarah was laughing and holding her stomach. It looked like I had been a good salmon. Alright, now I'm warmed up. Let's go again.
せーの、チケピ。
I went scissors and Sarah was paper. Yeah!
わあ、負けた。お願い、お願いだから変なお題出さないでよ。
I decided to make her act like Minnie Mouse Caesar, you a spoiled baby. How about you? Choose for you to act out you.
ユウってナッキュ先輩のこと？
Yep.
なんだ、そんなの簡単じゃん。
Easy?
行くよ。関東グレン会紅爆走連合7代目
No.
田中優、よろしく。
Who? You Tanaka? Who's that? Again. You is that?
ついこの間までね。今は片木に戻ったみたいよ。
I see. And then
何やってんの？
you appeared in your changed clothes. We're playing rock, paper, scissors, charades.
モノマネゲーム？なんか面白そうだね。私も入れて。いいですよ。
Sarah explained the rules to you.
オッケー、わかった。それじゃあ行きますよ。せーの、チッケピッ。
Just then, the lights illuminating the room started to flicker. Instinctively, we looked to the ceiling. Listening carefully, I heard a sound like the rumble of thunder far away.
何かな？
What were you waves? What? Who formed in the water pool on the flow? What? The holes in the ceiling trembled slightly, metal screeched on metal.
まさか。
Couldn't be what?
ほら、昨日の浸水の時と似てない？これ。
The blood appeared to drain from the faces of you and Sarah in the flickering light. Immediately after that, we were blanketed in darkness. The tremors and sounds stopped, but an eerie silence filled the area. Only the emergency lights showed weakly.
停電？停電だ。他のみんなは？
Where are Takeshi, Tsugumi, and Sora?
つぐみと空。で、つぐみはどこに？
Sarah and I shook our heads in the darkness.
とにかく、倉成とつぐみを探しに行こう。空は？空は、今はいいの。
What?
話はあと、今は二人を探す方が先よ。
You started running. Sarah and I followed her without knowing what was going on. Till we arrived in front of the control room. The power was out, so the door didn't open automatically. You pulled the lever next to the door and opened it manually. The three of us went inside.
倉成、つぐみ、いたら返事して。
You shouted out into the darkness. I wondered why she was only calling out to Takeshi and Tsugumi. Sora! Sora! I called out to Sora, but there was no answer. Sora should have gone here. I wonder where she could have gone. You had picked up a flashlight at some point. I imagine she had gotten it somewhere in the control room. You turned on it. A white circle of light appeared on the wall. You shined the flashlight right and left, lighting up all the corners of the room. The electrical system was completely down. Like an abandoned castle, there was no sign of warmth left. There's clearly nobody there.
誰もいないみたいね。
Who left the room?
ちょっとこれ持ってて。
You handed me the flashlight and shut the control room door. Just then, we heard the sounds of someone running toward us through water. After a short while, two figures emerged from the darkness. Oh, Takeshi!
つぐみ。
Takeshi and Tsugumi approached, walking through water. Hey, have you seen Sora?
制御室にいたんじゃねえのか？
それがもぬけの殻で。
本当か？
Takeshi used the manual lever to open the door. He looked inside. Do you want a flashlight?
ああ、サンキュー。
Takeshi took the flashlight, turned it on, and went into the room.
たく、こんな時にどこ行っちまったんだ、空のやつ。
Takeshi said that when he emerged from the control room.
さてと、どうしますか？
You said this calmly. It had been a series of emergencies since the day before. Maybe we were all completely used to it. In any case, none of us
と
were
りあ
freaking
え
out.
ず、みんなで手分けして空を探すしかないんじゃないの？空がいなかったら、なんで停電したのかだってわかんないんだし。
Yeah, Sora knows more about LeMU than anyone.
空ね。空か。もうしょうがないかな。この際だから言っちゃうけど、空は探しても見つからないと思う。え？
What?
どうして？
理由は私の口からは言えない。そういうことは ちゃんと本人から説明しないと。
あ？
とにかく私の言ってることを信じて。心配しなくても空は無事だから。必ず戻ってくるから。
Come back? You ignore my question.
分かったわ。で、あなたはどうするつもりなの？
発電室に行ってみようと思う。
Where did she go? I wanna know.
発電室？この停電の原因は発電機のトラブルにあると思うの。
That reminded me of something Sora had said the day before. LeMU didn't receive any power from the outside, but had an in-house generating system. There's a thermal seafloor vent where hot water was pumped out of the seabed, and heat from that was used to operate generators.
一緒に来てくれるでしょ。
あいにくだけど、その手には乗らないから。私は行かない。行きたいなら勝手にどうぞ。
Saying that, Sugumi left. It didn't look like it would be any use calling after her.
まったくもう本当にわけのわからんやっちゃな、あいつは。
しょうがない。4人で行くしかないね。
ヌッキョ先輩、その発電室っていうのはどこにあるんですか？
発電室はここドリットストックにあるの。
よし、そんじゃ早速行くとするか。リュウ、案内してくれ。
I guess she started walking toward the corridor.
ちょっとクラナリ、どこ行くつもりなのよ。
どこって発電室に行くんだろ。お前が言ったんじゃんか。
それであんたはどうやって行くつもりなの？
あ？そんなの通路を歩いてに決まってるじゃないか。
やれやれ、やっぱりちっとも分かってないんじゃない。
それどういう意味だよ。
Hey, you, I don't think I get it either.
私も。みんな昨日見たレミューのマップ覚えてないの？
マップね。
確か3階のマップはエリアが2つに分断されてましたよね。
Oh, that's right.
クラナリも思い出せた？
鮮明にとまではいかないけど、ある程度は。
じゃあその2つのエリアの間には何があった？
何がって言われてもな。
I don't think that there was anything.
そう。ということは？
The two areas are divided by a block, which is now underwater.
制御室のあるエリアから発電室のあるエリアへは直接移動することができない。
Besides that, the emergency stairs of one of those areas was also flooded.
ああ、そういうことか。発電室のあるエリアに降りるには2階の中性浮力式エレベーターを利用する以外方法はないんだ。
ご名答。
Ah.
だから私たちが向かわなければならないのは
To the entrance to the neutral buoyancy
そう
elevator.
いうこと。
Ah.
理解してもらったということで、いざ行動開始。
御意でござるよ、ニンニン。
Sarah took a bizarre kung fu pose and started spinning like top, but I had no clue what she was trying to do. Before going for repairs, we had to secure tools. When the four of us ascended from White's stock, we stopped by the warehouse first. Fortunately, we found the tools we needed right away. Pliers, a spanner, a screwdriver, hammer, a small welding machine, etc. We packed all the tools we imagined we would need and might need into a toolbox and headed for the neutral buoyancy elevator. The neutral buoyancy elevator, EI. EI meant egg in German. It was also a literal take on the egg-shaped elevator that traveled up and down. Rails into the ocean and on the side of LeMU. A ballast tank was attached to the floor. It would take in or release seawater from the tank as necessary to increase or reduce buoyancy, thus making the elevator rise or sink. Once we were inside, we sealed the watertight doors on the LeMU side of the elevator. All we had to do was release the lock connecting us to LeMU, and the egg would sink away. You pulled the operating lever next to the door. Whoa, cool. Nothing happens.
なん んだ。
Aw, no.
全然沈まないじゃないか。
そうみたいね。
Do you think it is because the power is out?
愛は中性浮力を利用してるから基本的には動力を必要としないの。ただしバラストタンクの注水時、排水時、その時にだけ電力を用いる。
でも今は停電してるから。
So there's no way to control the ballast value? Is that the problem? Valve. Okay.
なんだ、それじゃ結局のところ動かせないんじゃないか。悪かったな。
バカね、そうじゃないでしょ。あんたそれでも大学生なの？はい先生。はい松永くん。
浮力を利用して昇降するってことはエレベーターの総重量が浮力を上回れば沈むと思います。
その通り。もちろん少年も分かってるよね。
I got it. Yeah, you mean Archimedes' principle, right? The buoyancy of a submerged object is equal to the weight of the liquid displayed on the object. Right now, the buoyancy of the elevator is exactly balanced with the elevator's weight. So if we make the elevator heavier, it will outweigh the buoyancy and the elevator will sink.
いやー、すっごい。
Ooh.
誰か頭いい。
Yeah, you've had their head, says G Praise says.
賢い。
Sweet.
どっかの誰かさんと違ってね。
So the reason that EI won't sink yet is that it is not heavy enough, right?
何か重しになるものを探してこないと。
We split up and went in search of a thing we could use as weights. And several minutes later...
ど
Things! Because he was carrying a massive planting pot.
ちらほい。あ、ちらほい。
You brought a plaster ornament. And I brought a magazine holder and a bundle of magazines from the security office. And Sarah...
ちょっと。
Sarah, that's...
何持ってきてんだよ、お前。
Sarah was dragging a massive tuna.
それどうしたの？
向こうの通路に落ちてたの。多分浸水の時厨房の冷蔵庫から流れてきたんだと思う。ちょっと冷たいけど我慢して。
So the four of us packed ourselves into EI and cradled a frozen tuna heading down to Trickstock. AI began to inch down ever so slowly. Peeking through the window and into the blue, we could see the outside of LeMU. The blue gradually got darker and the steel bulkhead appeared to move further away upward. We were silent during that time. What was there really to talk about? No, actually, you did say one thing.
そういえばさ、食用捕鯨って国際条約で禁止されてたよね。
It seemed that Yu was having trouble with the difference between a dolphin and a tuna. No one tried to answer her. I decided not to think about anything. Well, I hope that worked. Great. Okay, we gotta find Sora, wherever she is. Bye!